What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another video. This one is super special for me because I have my 1 year anniversary of collecting manga. So July 6th, 2021 was the day that I bought my first volume of manga, and now behind me is what I have today. So it's kind of been a crazy journey so far. I'm really excited to share what all that has been for me with you guys. I'm gonna kind of start it off with an updated collection tour, and then later on I'm just gonna kind of go through why I started collecting manga and just that whole ordeal. So if you just want to check out that part, I'll have the chapters in the description below. But if you just are here to see my collection, then that'll be the next segment. Okay, and without further ado, let's go ahead and hop right into it. Alright, so I guess I'll kind of start up here. I have a few of my little box sets and other stuff displayed. So just kind of over here, I got this little Destiny hand cannon model that my brother 3D printed for me. Just kind of have that up here just because it looks really cool and it kind of fills some empty space. And I got the Death Note all-in-one edition. This is actually a gift for my brother that I bought him, but he just kind of wanted to put it in here because he doesn't really have any other manga. Then I got my Akira 35th anniversary box set. I really like this box set, it's super clean. And then up here I have a volume of the Shonen Jump magazine. I've always just kind of wanted to have one volume of it, just as like a little display piece. And I thought this would be a really cool volume just because the way Luffy looks. I was able to find this for like a really good deal. Shout out to Xbox Gut for finding this for me out in the wild. Really love how that looks on my shelf. Then right here we got my Full Metal box set and Bleach box set 1. So yeah, that's about the top of the thing. Okay, so starting off first, we have Hell's Paradise. If you've seen my video, you know how much I love this series. I kind of have it displayed like this because I love Volume 9's cover. It's probably like one of my favorite covers like out of all my collection. That's why I have it like on display right here. So yeah, this is 1 through 13 complete. Please go check out this series if you haven't already. Next up right here, I got the Akira box set. I really love these hardcovers. They look a lot better than the paperbacks in my opinion. If you've seen the movie, I would definitely suggest checking out the manga because I hear that the manga is just more in depth than the movie, so definitely like expand your horizons on that a bit. Okay, so this shelf is all of my like ongoing series. I have the ones that are like either still releasing or like they're finished in Japan, but like the English publication is just a few behind. So like the ones that are just actively releasing. I got a little extra space back there for, you know, when I keep having to add volumes. Alright, so first off we got Die Dark 1 through 3. This is by the same author of Dorohedoro. Really cool. About space, it's about necromancy, it's about zombies, about death. It's really cool. Really cool series. Next up I got Mashal. I really love Mashal. The anime just got announced, so super hyped for that. Please check this out. You're really missing out. This is such a fun series. Such a good series to read. I really love it. Alright, so now I probably have my favorite ongoing series, Jujutsu Kaisen. I could sit here all day and talk like good about this series. It's just, I love it so much. I think that everybody needs to at least try it and check it out. Just such a good series. It does so many things right, and I just love reading it when a new volume comes out. Okay, now we have the Mob Psycho manga. So this is 1 through 8, and then the Reagan spinoff. This one's actually complete in Japan. They're just really behind on the publication. Like halfway, this is only at the halfway point. There's 16 volumes, so they really need to step it up. But this series will always hold a special place in my heart. I absolutely love it. I suggest watching the anime if you haven't heard of it at all because the anime is actually ahead of the manga. I'm just kind of picking it up because I want to collect it. Alright, and then lastly right here we got Blue Lock Volume 1. This is a soccer series. It just came out this month, or it just came out in June, but definitely check this out. You're really missing out on this series if you haven't picked it up yet. It's so good. You don't even have to like sports. Just try it out, trust me. Alright, and lastly for my ongoing series I have Kaiju number 8, Spy Family, and Sakamoto Days. These are all series that are like relatively like new. Spy Family is obviously the longest, but these are really good series that are like relatively short. So I would say, you know, start picking these up if you're looking for some new stuff. All really good, really funny, have really good action. I think my favorite of these is definitely Spy Family, but I really like the other two as well. Alright, so moving on down here we have Planetes by Makoto Yukimura. This is also the same author who made Vinland Saga. That's kind of why I have these two, because I really love both of these. Like, I would say Vinland Saga is my number 2 series of all time, right behind Attack on Titan. And I really like Planet Test as well. Really just check out both of these, like, they're so good. I think Planet Test deserves a little bit more like recognition than it gets, but I mean, of course, a lot of people have heard of Vinland Saga. The anime really like got a lot of people into it, so yeah, please just check out Vinland Saga. It's so good. I think Thorfinn is one of my favorite characters in like manga. I just love him so much. All right, and then right here I have 1 through 4 of Dorohedoro. Got the rest down here, so I'll get back to that in just a second. All right, so now I have Burn the Witch, which is a Bleach spinoff. It takes place in the same universe, and I don't know, it wasn't the best. I'm thinking that maybe it's gonna get better if Kubo keeps going with it. I don't know like what his like release schedule looks like, but I don't think he knows either, because there has not been anything heard about a new volume or what. But it seemed like it wasn't gonna be a standalone thing. And plus it says like volume 1, so I'm hoping that means it's gonna like continue. Alright, so now we have Shaman King 1 through 32. This is complete in the singles. I really am so glad that I was able to find these, and for cheap too. Like, I got a crazy deal. And these are like so rare. I'm so glad that I can have these in my collection. And I absolutely love the way the spines look. Just so like colorful and everything. And then also right here I have 1 through 2 of Demon Slayer, but I'll get back to those. Alright, so we got Dorohedoro, the rest of it. So this is 5 through 14. I am missing 15 through 22 or 23. I think there's 23 volumes. Yeah, I'm missing to the rest of it, but I'm gonna keep picking these up. And then I'm really excited to read more into it. I've only read the first 3 volumes, but I'm just kind of waiting until I get the rest of it. This is a really cool series. It's pretty popular, so like you might have heard of it, but like I would say definitely check it out if you like darker stuff. It's really cool. Alright, so right here I have the Death Note short stories volume. My favorite from this was definitely the Sekira story about the kid who gets the Death Note a few years after Light has it. So it's really interesting to see like how this one plays out. I would really suggest checking this out if you like Death Note. Alright, so I have the 20th Century Boys Perfect Edition 1 through 11, and then 21st Century Boys. I've not read much of this series, but I'm really excited to get into it soon. This is probably going to be one of the next few things that I read after I finish what I'm reading right now. I really like the aesthetic of it, and Urasawa is like a really cool mangaka, so I'm really interested to get it more into his works. Alright, and then I'll save Monster for whenever I get to the rest of it. Alright, so now I have Demon Slayer, the rest of it, so that's 3 through 23, and then the Stories of Water and Flame spinoff. I really liked that little side story, but like Demon Slayer as a whole, I haven't read past the anime. I'm going to like before the next season comes out, but it's just not super high up my priority list. Whenever I bought it, I was like really excited to get into it, but now I've kind of gotten more stuff that just interests me more. I mean, I still like Demon Slayer, it's just not like my favorite, but I am really excited to kind of see what happens after the anime, because I hear the next few arcs are like really cool and they have some really good fights. Alright, so this is like my newest pickup. I have D Gray Man 1 through 21. I want to get the rest of it soon, but I just don't know where to find it yet. Super excited to get my hands on this for a good price, because it's so hard to find. But yeah, I'm really excited to read more of it. Alright, so now I have Monster 2 through 9. I have volume 1 on that shelf above. But yeah, Monster is kind of like same thing with 20th Century Boys. It's one I want to get into soon, but I just haven't gotten to it yet. But I've read a little bit of it, and I really like the beginning. I think Tenma is a really good character, and then the villain, of course, is probably like the best character. But like, I don't know, to me, like, people don't talk about Tenma enough. I feel like he's kind of a slept-on character. Okay, so here I have Tokyo Ghoul Re. I have the regular Tokyo Ghoul, but it's like somewhere else. But this is just like the box set for Re. I haven't read Re yet, but I mean, I enjoyed Tokyo Ghoul enough. And people say that some people say that Re is better, some people say the original is better. I'm not really sure what it's gonna be, but like, I'm kind of excited to see how it holds up to the original, because I really did enjoy the original. I just haven't read it in a while, so I kind of need to like refresh myself. Alright, so now I have Fullmetal Alchemist 1 through 27. This is the first box set I ever bought, and this is one of my favorite series. I mean, it's not like Full Metal. There's so many good elements of it. It was kind of one of the first few like animes that really made me fall in love with the with the medium. Like, I mean, it wasn't the first one that I saw, but like it was kind of the one that like really got me into it. And so I really enjoyed Full Metal Alchemist, and I read the manga too, and like I still can't tell if I like the Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood anime or the manga itself better, because they're kind of similar, but like Brotherhood just kind of follows the manga more closely than the original one did. Alright, so now I have Chainsaw Man 1 through 7. I have this little dude here because he's got a little chainsaw, so that was fitting. And then I got the rest down here. But yeah, Chainsaw Man Part 1 just ended. Really excited for Part 2 to come out. This series is really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff about it, and it definitely deserves all the hype it gets. I don't really want to say too much about it because the freshest thing on my mind is the ending, and I really can't talk about that without spoiling things. Alright, so we kind of have like an assorted shelf down here. This is like the bottom shelf of this one, so it's like a little bit bigger. So yeah. Right here we got Uzumaki by Junji Ito. This is just like a must read if you like horror. Like literally everybody talks about Uzumaki and definitely deserves the praise it gets. I'm not the biggest Junji Ito fan, but Uzumaki was really good. Then we got The Drifting Classroom, Volume 1. This is another horror manga. This is one that I really want to get into after reading Uzumaki, because I hear that Drifting Classroom is a really good one, a really good horror manga, and I'm kind of interested to get into that. Yeah, so then right here we got some assorted stuff. I have 2 Attack on Titans books. So I have the like greatest hits in color, Volume 1. Volume 2 comes out pretty soon. I'm hoping they put chapter 131 in that one, because that's my favorite chapter of the entire series. And then I got the Attack on Titan anthology down here, which is basically a bunch of short stories written by like comic book authors. It's like spin-off stories from Attack on Titan, like what if it was like happening in the real world and stuff like that. It's kind of interesting. It really wasn't my favorite, to be honest. It kind of focused on stuff that weren't as interesting as like certain things that they could have. Like it would have been really cool to see like superheroes fighting the Titans, but instead it was just kind of like stuff that I just wasn't really that interested in. And right here we have one of the very few American comics I own, which is the Batman The Long Halloween, which is my favorite Batman story. Rest in peace, Tim Sale. He died I think like a week ago or so. It's really upsetting because he's, he played a part in making one of my favorite Batman stories. Okay, and then right here we got Goodnight Poon Poon. This is a really depressing series. It definitely deserves all the praise it gets, but me personally, it's just not something that I really want to put myself through again. It was just so rough reading it the first time. Alright, so now I have my Berserk Deluxes. So this is 1 through 9. I think 11 just came out, so I need to get my hands on that. But I also need to read more of it. Like, I've only read up to the 3rd deluxe edition, so that means I've only read 9 volumes. But this is also something that I really want to get into soon. I've just kind of been like busy reading other stuff, but definitely really want to get into Berserk, especially because now that the manga is coming back and they're making new chapters for it. And then right here I have my Tokyo Ghoul Monster editions. I don't have the first one because that one is like impossible to find, but these are just like big 3-in-1s, kind of like the Berserk Deluxes. But yeah, this is one of the first few like big series I picked up whenever I started collecting, just because I thought that these were like such cool additions, and I really like the big artwork and stuff like that. Alright, so then down here we have a shelf of a lot of white volumes. Just kind of stuff that I just kind of all put together just because I think that they look good together. So yeah, we got Chainsaw Man right there. I just talked about that. We have Black Cat Volume 1. This is another series kind of like D Gray Man, where it's something that I've kind of wanted to get into at some point, but it's just hard to find. I'm pretty sure it's like actually out of print though, so it's like a lot harder to find, but I just kind of got lucky on eBay and found a lot that had Black Cat Volume 1 in it for a really cheap price. Alright, now we have Bleach Volumes 1 through 21. So this is the intro to the Soul Society arc. Such a good arc. Soul Society, I absolutely loved it. I'm really hoping that box sets 2 and 3 come in soon so I can finish Bleach, because Bleach is something that I really want to finish reading. And then the anime coming out in October looks so good. The animation looks so clean. They just released a new trailer for it as well. Alright, so now we have Claymore Volumes 1 through 27. This is complete. I got the box set for this a while back. This is also something I really want to get into soon. I just have so many things that are in my to be read list that it's just so hard to like decide which one I want to do. And also I've kind of been busier, so it's harder for me to read multiple volumes a day sometimes, just because it's just kind of gotten busy and stuff like that. But really want to check out Claymore soon. I really like the artwork on the covers, and the premise seems really cool from what I've read. I really like it. Yeah, so that's claim 1. All right, and lastly I have Promised Neverland. This is volumes 5 through 20, so this is just from where season 1 of the anime leaves off to the end of the series. This is actually what I'm reading currently right now. I'm on volume 16 or 17, I don't remember which one. So I'm like almost done. And honestly, I don't get why people say that that the quality drops off after Goldie Pond, because Goldie Pond was an amazing arc. Like, it was probably my favorite arc so far. But I don't think that it just straight up gets bad. It's just doesn't live up to the same hype. I don't know like how it ends, so I'm sure that might be part of it, is people saying like that the ending isn't very good. But from what I've read in like the later volumes, I'm really enjoying like where the story's going, and I'm excited to see like how it concludes. They're releasing a epilogue volume that kind of has like a final chapter or something like that. That's like happens after the ending, so I'm excited to pick that up. And then they also just released an art book, so I might want to pick that up once I finish it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this series. If you like Attack on Titan, I definitely would suggest checking out Promised Neverland. So yeah, that's about it for my collection tour. I did kind of speed through it, I know, because I kind of recently did a video talking about all of my collection, so I guess kind of already a thing. But if you want to hear like my full thoughts on some series that I didn't really talk about, then I would say check out that video, because I kind of go more in depth on the books that I got. All right, so thanks for checking that collection tour out. Now I'm gonna kind of be talking about, you know, why I decided to get into collecting. So this is like my year anniversary of collecting manga, but the story actually starts all the way back in 2019. So like December 2019, I'm just like on social media all the time, and I start seeing a lot of memes about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And you know, I've never watched anime before, despite like Pokemon and like Avatar, like as a kid, like that type of stuff. And so like I started seeing all these memes, and I'm like, oh, this like show looks like really cool, and it looks like really funny, because like all these memes are just like hilarious. Like, have you seen like the JoJo's memes, like especially like the like part 5 like Giorno's theme music and all that type of stuff? You like know what I'm talking about. I just like start watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure one day, like just open up Netflix, start watching part 1. I like binge it super crazily fast, and I make it to about like halfway through part 4, which is like Diamond is Unbreakable. And then I kind of just take a break from it, just because like I'm kind of getting burnt out. And then like as soon as I decided to take like a short little break, the like COVID pandemic hit, and then like we were like all in quarantine, so that completely like threw off my little break. I kind of started playing a lot more video games with my friends online, just because, you know, we couldn't really like go out and do stuff, so we were just like hanging out on Xbox and like playing Minecraft, stuff like that, you know. And then like towards the end of the pandemic, I was like about to be a freshman in college, and before I like leave for college, I'm like hanging out with my friends from back home, and he was just talking about like how he's like into One Piece, and he really likes One Piece, and so like just hearing him talk about it made me like think like, oh, I should like start watching JoJo again. So I finished JoJo's part 4 and 5, and then I'm like, okay, that was really good. Now I have to wait till like they animate the rest of it. So in the meantime, I watched Death Note and then Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Started those two, really enjoyed them. Then, so like, it's like March 2021 now, and I'm just like really like still really interested in JoJo's. Like, it's kind of like taking over me. I'm like so obsessed with it, and I really want like more JoJo's. So I decided like, oh, I should go to like Barnes & Noble to see if they have like the manga. And I go, and they only have like parts 1 through 4, and like part 4 wasn't even like complete yet by the time, or it might have been completed, I'm not entirely sure. And so I was like confused, because I was like, oh, I thought that like the manga was like past it. And that's when I realized that it's like ahead of the anime is actually like ahead of the English publication, which is like a rare occasion in manga, because it's normally like past the anime. Okay, so now it's like summer. All right, so now it's June 2021. I'm like back home for the summer from college, and I decide like, oh, I'll just go to the bookstore again and just check out the manga, just kind of see what they have. I'm like really into watching anime a lot at this point, and I just kind of want to like look at all the stuff they got. So like I said, I'm like really into anime at this point, so I like really start to be involved in like online communities about talking about anime and stuff like that. So I see a lot of people talking about Berserk, and I've like never heard of Berserk. And so people are like, oh, but you can't watch the anime, you have to like read the manga. And I think that's kind of what initially got me into wanting to start reading manga. Whenever I watch anime, I watch in dub or sub depending on which one is better. Like I just want to give myself the best experience with it, and now that's what I do with manga, where I'll either watch the anime or read depending on which one is like a better viewing experience for me. And so like hearing that you have to experience Berserk from the manga and not from the anime because it's trash, like hearing that made me think like, oh, I need to get into reading manga so I can not miss out on all this stuff. So then I don't buy Berserk as like my first manga because everybody says like, oh, you can't be the first thing or whatever, which I was like, okay, you know, I'll just listen to these people because they seem to know what they're talking about. So it's July 2021. I'm in the bookstore again. I'm thinking like, I want to buy some manga. I want to start collecting manga. So I'm at the bookstore and I'm like looking for something. I don't remember exactly how this went in my head, but I don't know why it was, but that night I left with one volume of manga, and that was Mob Psycho 100 Volume 1. I really wish that I could remember why in the world I bought this as my first manga, because I have no idea why. At the time I bought it, I hadn't watched One Punch Man yet, which is by the same creator, so I like had no reason to like be into Mob. And so, you know, this was the first one for me. And so I didn't know like how long it would take me to read it or whatever, so I like brought it home that night and literally like read it so fast, and I was just like, oh, this is like so cool, I love this. A couple of days later, I don't know if it was like the same week or what, I went back to the store and I picked up volume 2, 3, and 4 Mob Psycho, and then I also picked up volumes 1 and 2 of Berserk, just the singles. I didn't know about the deluxes at the time, but now that I do, I like sold off my singles and I'm buying the deluxes. So at this point, I've kind of been on the internet more, seeing like what mangas people recommend. And so I finished reading Mob Psycho 1 through 4. So then I like pick up like 5 and 6 because those are the only two out. So I finished Berserk 1 through 2, and I couldn't find volume 3 anywhere around me. So I kind of was just like, I'm just gonna wait and pick up some other stuff while I'm waiting for that one to restock. So because Berserk volume 3 was, you know, out of stock anywhere I could find it, I decided there's 5 series that I want to pick up and start collecting. And I was able to find all these around me, and I just came home and like started reading them all, and then I like really started collecting the ones that I liked a lot. And so these 5 series weren't my like first series, but I think the reason that I like really started collecting a ton is because of these 5 specifically. So these are all like really special series to me. I picked up Villain Saga Volume 1, Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 1, Tokyo Ghoul Volume 1. I got rid of that one because I have like the monster editions, but it's just like the Volume 1 of the singles. And then at a later date, I didn't get them the same day, I think it was a few days later, I got Spy Family Volume 1 and Chainsaw Man Volume 1. So yeah, it's kind of cool, like because I couldn't find Berserk Volume 3, I really decided to just branch out and get a ton of new series. And I'm honestly kind of excited that I did. I'm glad that I did because it really expanded my horizons. And there's a lot of series that I wouldn't have started collecting if that Berserk volume had been in stock. So it's just kind of interesting. Just a little like background of like why I collect and like how I got started. This has been a really cool hobby that I've enjoyed so much. I'm like so glad that I randomly on a whim decided to buy this bad boy at the store. I still wish I could remember what was going through my head when I bought Mob Psycho. I just think it's so funny. So I just kind of wanted to throw this picture up here before I end the video. This was probably a week after I started collecting. I decided to go and buy a bookshelf because I thought that I was going to need space. And it's just so funny to see like that my collection was so small this time. Like up in the top right is like all the manga I had, and then the Vinland Saga down below. But like everything else was just like regular books that I was just like putting up there to fill the space. And then now these days I have 2 shelves, and it's still kind of hard to find space for everything. So it's just a funny little image of where I've come from. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the video. Thanks so much for checking it out. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah, so thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all later. Peace.